All right, assisted living fans, hope everybody's doing well. This will be my review for season 2, episode 16, entitled Little Miss Sunshine. And I really enjoyed the episode. We got a new resident to the fold, and the ranking, I will give it a 9 out of 10, mainly due to the fact that the secondary story, or the B story of the episode, aside from the new resident, was the fact that Sandra was inspired to make her own quilt after learning about the pretty much the importance, the legacy, and I know this might sound like the wrong phrase to use, but I want to call it the generational wealth. Traditionally, even now today, black families don't usually have the same resources to create the generational wealth of, let's say, white people. So back in the day, stories and knowledge were the riches that the past generations could give to future generations. So by creating the quilts, telling the family stories in each generation, that was pretty priceless. So that's going to be her storyline for the episode. And Leah does too much, but she does eventually come back down to earth, if you will, to make amends. So that's one reason why I feel this episode is better than, let's say, a 7. Because, I've said the past couple episodes, I've been kind of disappointed how Philip has been getting the short end of the stick when it comes to how his parents deal with him. And in this episode, we don't have Philip or Jeremy at all, as opposed to having all 4 of them together. But like I've been saying every freaking video this season, not every character needs to be in every episode. It's all about character utilization. So before moving forward in the review, make sure you take a moment to hit the thumbs up button to show you like it. Hit subscribe, hit that bell icon and select all, because trust and believe, I have a lot of stuff to post and you do not want to miss out. Follow me on social media. Links are in the description below. And let me just talk about the Sandra stuff first, since I had already begun, because that's the shorter end of the episode. Basically, Anastasia, I love how Anastasia and Sandra really bond. Like, she might be in the kitchen, she might be in the living room, but she kind of overhears, not eavesdropping, but she overhears, sometimes the conversations that go down. I think, what was it, last week or the week before, when she overheard Sandra wanting to fight for, like women's rights or an equality, given that Philip can stay out late, no problem, but Sandra has a curfew and she gets grounded if she's late. But I do feel like they really do have that grandmother-granddaughter bond, which I feel is amazing, especially since, aside from Grandpa Vinny, I don't really think that Sandra and Philip have any other grandparents that we know of. But she wants to make a family quilt after learning about it in school. And at first, Anastasia is, asked if she wants to help, but she's like, oh no, her hands aren't for. So Anastasia, she got that little feistiness in her. So I'm like, okay. And then it turned into a, Sandra and Leah project. But then, of course, Leah has a knack for going a bit extra. If you think Brown's outfits are loud and over the top, then I feel like the same could be said about Leah's demeanor. There's a moment where Sandra looks like, I think she's like drawing out the plans for what the quilt would look like. And Leah comes in with a box of stuff from storage, a bunch of her baby things, blankets, little baby outfits and things like that. And she wants to pretty much make this quilt her project, but Sandra's like, hey, this is the first, quilt. I want it to be, simple to tell my story. But, Leah doesn't really hear her. So later on in the episode, we have Sandra telling Leah that you're doing too much, because she comes in with like a bunch of scout buttons and everything. And Sandra's like, wait, I don't remember having all these buttons. No, you're actually pretty terrible at it. So I just bought these. And then she says, Mom, you're being too extra. I'm not being extra. Is there a bedazzler in that box? Okay, there's a bedazzler in the box. And she is, well, I don't know. Parents, is like, if you take your voice to another octave, you're automatically being extremely disrespectful and rude. And the thing about it is, Leah never really asked what Sandra wanted in the quilt, it just became her project because, I mean, Leah always came in the room with a box of this, a box of that, but it seemed like Sandra was always working on some details on the quilt, but Leah never asked her, hey, Sandra, what are you hoping to put into it? So really, she just takes her stuff and says, I'm going to work on it myself. And it's really like, it's always the clapback. Whenever the child wants to express, hey, this is what I want. Hey, I'm the parent, and this is how things are going to be done. That's literally all it is. But thankfully, later in the episode, Sandra goes up to the bedroom to apologize to Leah, and that really inspires her to start the quilt all over again. And, Leah tries to go a bit above and beyond, but, Sandra calms it down. And she really tries to express, like, this is one of those moments where I felt like, we could spend quality time together. Because earlier when they were at the table, Sandra was like, you just try to shut down and control every part of my life. Who I hang out with, Lindor, my life choices. I was hoping she would have brought up the college thing too. But, it's like, well, I'll make those choices until I feel like I don't need to anymore when you're an adult. So I'm glad that Leah came back down to earth and had a conversation with her daughter instead of talking at her daughter, which was great. So that's why this episode did excel in the B plot. So moving on to the main storyline of the episode, we have the new resident. And if I'm not mistaken, her name is Miss Marilyn Winfield. And I was right about the actor. I forgot the name of the actor that I mentioned in my episode trailer breakdown. My trailer breakdown, but I was absolutely right. She played, was it Vera in the Family Funeral movie? She also played Connie from Greenleaf. So Cora isn't happy that the residents aren't participating in planned activities such as, painting or gardening. And the new resident comes in and she's all excited to be here. The guys are just like, oh, hey, we got another lady in the house. And Anastasia's like, she's too damn peppy for me. I feel like Miss Marilyn's one of those people, like, when you get to work in the morning and you haven't had your coffee and then they're trying to talk your ear off. It's like they're just overly excited. Hey, it's 7 o'clock in the morning. Ain't nobody this damn happy. All right. So they have a dance class called Yumba, obviously a nod to Zumba, and nobody wants to be involved. But as soon as Miss Marilyn starts throwing down some moves, the guys are all, hey, Vinny's like, hey, I'm in. And then Anastasia doesn't want to do it until Miss Marilyn reveals that she's always been a fan of Anastasia's work. So when the class goes to action, it's everybody's moving and a grooving to the point that Miss Marilyn suggests that, later tonight, let's go out to a dance club. And then, the residents are like, hey, now, we don't want to violate curfew. But then she has the idea of energizing or reinvigorating the residents by saying, look, don't you all have bucket lists? Just because we're sitting around in this place doesn't mean we have to wait until we die. And you're only as young as you feel. So what we'll do is we'll sneak out the back door late at night. So we go to the next scene later that night. Leah and Cora are freaking out. They're on the phone with 911 trying to report a group of missing old people, and the residents come in. I think before they actually come through the door, Cora and Leah assume they're robbers. So, they grab like a chair or whatever. Hey, we got a gun. And then they bust in. And when I tell you these, you got F.A., Vinny, Anastasia, Reginald, Miss Marilyn, they're all just feeling like kids. It's like, oh yeah, we had a good time. Turns out they went to the dance club and then they went to the strip club, and I think Miss Marilyn was the one that taught Anastasia how to twerk. My goodness. But I think there's a nod to the BET Awards and also Morris Chestnut. Oh yeah, that's right, because Cora said, well, I'm about to go home because I had a dream that Morris Chestnut was, basically in her dreams, like, there's nothing like a tall, dark, handsome, bald man. And then F.A.'s like, me? No! But from there, Leah has a conversation with Miss Marilyn about the fact that she endangered the residents, given the fact that their families trust Cora, Leah, Jeremy, Vinny, and Mr. Brown to take care of them. So what if something happened tonight? And it turns out that Miss Marilyn has a record of being moved from one facility after another. Well, not moved, but kicked out of one old folks home after another due to the fact that she doesn't really follow rules that well. That really reminded me of the Temptations, when Otis kind of like extends an invitation to David Ruffin to join the Temptations, and David's like, well, I don't know, I've never been good with rules. And I'm like, damn, Otis, he telling you right there that he's not going to follow your rules you set. And then we know what happens in that story. But she pretty much says, you know what, I'm an adult, I'm not a child, I'm not going to follow any curfews, so fine, I guess it's time for me to leave. Now, from there, we go over to Anastasia having a one-on-one. I feel like, yeah, this was a great moment, because I feel like Anastasia did the same thing when Brown was in danger of all the residents leaving back in episode 11, Mr. Big Stuff, where it's like, you know, he was pretty much not treating the residents well, and they wanted to be, you know, go to the assisted living home across the street. And they had a great heart-to-heart. The same moment happened here, where Anastasia reassures Marilyn that, look, you don't have to run from this place because it's not a prison, it's a home. And these people aren't your, you know, like the security guards watching your every move. They're family. So why don't you just stay for a while and give it a chance, as opposed to, you know, seemingly wanting to stare death in the face from, you know, doing reckless things, skydiving and whatnot. Basically embrace the fact that you're getting older, and true, just because you're as young as you feel doesn't mean you can be, you know, reckless without thinking about the consequences. So stay for a while, see how it is, and you'll find out that we do things here that won't make you feel locked up. And there's no tapioca. I've never been a fan of that either. So that was a great scene in itself. And the final part of the episode is when Marilyn reveals that she's decided to stay, and Leah's like, don't worry, you're not going to be punished. So they all, you know, toast to Marilyn, and that's the end of the episode. So yeah, I really love the episode. It was really great. So this was episode 16, Little Miss Sunshine. But let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. But as always, make sure to like and subscribe, as I mentioned at the beginning of the video. And if you'd like to donate to the channel, feel free to do so on PayPal or Cash App.